they're speaking from what they know in their hearts rather than what they want to see and for their own personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a number of movements, and we call them politicians, that they're doing it for their own reasons, not the altruistic reason that they're trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an interesting issue, and I myself have struggled with this, trying to come to terms with all of this myself, because I think I, like you, have to say, I don't feel it on a day-to-day basis. I don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. Do I acknowledge that I've probably been the subject of or the target of racism? Absolutely. But it's not something that's in my face in much of the way that it seems to be for many people around the country right now.
Yeah, you know, my sister lives in New York. She's 85. She lives alone. And so she doesn't go to Flushing because people are purse snatching or bopping old people, purse snatching. So is that racist? Sometimes it is, because there's no reason. They're not robbing them. And so, but what's driving the people doing it? Are they part of a movement? Or are they just stupid people just acting out, thinking they are fixing the world by picking on a helpless Asian? To me, that's just bullying.
Have you seen this level, though, of anti-Asian crime?
Not in Mississippi, because we've been part of the landscape for so long. People, again, don't have. Sally taught school in a 99% black school. And did she get a racial slur? Occasionally. But is it some kid being a racist? Or was he just showing out to his buddies that, look at me?
Mm-hmm.
Because if she turns around and confronts them, does the person own up to, I did it? Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
But it has happened on occasion. And when I walked through the plant, I spent a lot of time in the plant, in the factory with 100 other people. Did somebody say, well, he's that Chinaman? I never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
But then did they treat me with respect because I was the plant engineer and had influence over their roles in the plant, or because they didn't like me personally? And so, it's probably there. And I think in the 40 years I was in the plant, I've had one racial conversation where the guy called me a racist.
Mm. Called you a racist?
Called me a racist. And I told him he was just stupid.
I mean, one of the things that I think, one of the undercurrents that I think is, guiding a lot of the conversation right now is, in this post-COVID, or in this COVID period or post-COVID period, whatever you want to call it, Chinese and the Asian community at large has been targeted. There seems to be something in the air right now that's been stoked that perhaps you haven't seen in your lifetime. I certainly hadn't.
Well, again, I read the paper every day. We see the news, and we know it's happening around us. But is it the media presenting it? I absolutely believe it exists, and there are people out there. But I don't know if there is a concerted, organized effort to get on the Asians, as it was at the end of the railroad, when they actually burned out Chinese towns in California, because they didn't know what to do with the Chinese. They couldn't compete with them because the railroad workers laid 10 miles of track in one day. That record's never been held. It had been beaten to this day, and it was the Chinese culture to be able to work. And so there were organized efforts to burn out the town, literally, and run the Chinese out, because They just didn't know